What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be upgrading this cart and maybe changing it up a little bit. I have a new back seat that we're going to install on today's video. The reason I'm replacing this back seat is because in that one video I did, I popped a wheelie real big. I actually bent this part of the frame here back. I broke some parts there. So this right here has been like right here since that video. I'm getting kind of tired of it. So this is the back seat. I actually got this for the $100 project cart. Since that cart's taking a little bit longer getting parts and stuff like that, I decided to go ahead and let's take this and put this on our white President. Now this seat is a company online called Nokins. N-O-K-I-N-S. Let's open it up for the first time. I don't even know if I have the box in the right orientation, to be honest with you. I think it's upside down, but we're about to find out. All right, so we got the box open, and first thing I noticed was I had the box upside down when I opened it, so I didn't open it the right way, I guess you would say. But this here is the bottom footrest for the golf cart, and as you can see, it's actually got a metal base up underneath it here. And then it's got like this plastic cover, which is sort of like the kit that we're going to be replacing on the golf cart. So these are the side pieces there. This right here looks like the pieces that will attach the seats from the front and back. This right here is going to go between the bag well area and the seat mount to give us some extra support there. This is the lower bracket that attaches to the side brackets here and the side of the step. This is a bag of hardware. This right here is the main bottom support here and the folding support. This is the back seat here. It's going to be a black diamond stitched seat cover like that. And I believe I have another one to go on the front. We're going to be installing that as well. So we're going to be changing the color scheme of this cart up a little bit in today's video. What's great about this right here is they also send you this cover. You can put on the back right here, so it hides all of the the seam and the stitches or the staples. So these are the uprights for the factory roof. Now we don't have a factory roof on this cart. We have the extended top. We might reuse the old extended top candy canes on a cart. We have some instructions here. They're actually color instructions. You know, it shows pictures, pretty good there. This is gonna be for the back support here that comes up and goes down, so we'll check that out as well. Now, as you can tell, I just put a piece of scrap wood here to kind of support the top, just so it wouldn't flex too much from the front mounts of the cart. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just clean up the top portion of the body as best as I can. Probably just use some Windex and a rag. I just want to be able to clean it now because once we get the new seat back on it, it's going to be a lot harder to clean again. So on the first page of the instructions, it lists like pack 1, pack 2, pack 3. It lists all the contents per bag. I went in here and I took everything. I transferred everything from millimeter to inches. I did all of that because I have all the bolts here and the nuts laid out on the bottom of the golf cart, and I can easily pick that. All right, guys, so here's the deal. The first step, we need to mount these right here into the bag wheel area. The problem lies, it says in the instruction manual to use hardware from bag 2. The hardware from bag 2 is 1.75 inches long, and it does not fit underneath the honeycomb of the bottom of the cart, so you cannot get a washer or a nylon locking nut on it. So we need to extend that a little longer. What I'm going to use, I'm going to try to use the same bolts here that is 2 3/4 inches long with the washer and this supplied spacer on the bottom of this as well. With that being said, let's see if we can get it to hang down below the cart. And we can. So we're going to use the 2 3/4 inch bolts to mount these across the bottom of the golf cart. Now once you install these, don't tighten them all the way up. We're just going to install them kind of loosely so we can get everything mounted together before we tighten everything down. The next step in the process, we're going to have to install the golf cart seat frame itself. The seat frame is the folding portion of the seat here. Remember, you are going to have 2 holes over here and 2 holes right here. And we're going to be using the hardware that we retained from when we took the old back seat off. Now, I will go ahead and say this, that's under this plastic here of the club cart present, you have another piece that's a structural piece that helps support this right here portion of the body. And you have these clips right here. And inside of these clips here, like on this one is attached to those inside frame pieces. Well, this one actually broke off of mine. It was on this one right here. So that one's away. I'm only gonna be able to use 3 bolts on this right here, but you're gonna need to use all 4. This is another product of Poppin' Wheelies. Now you'll notice on this, once we get it in place here, that the bolts go underneath these 2 covers here. So these 2 covers need to be pulled up and removed so we can install the bolts in there. After we get the bolts installed, we can put these covers back into place to cover those bolts. So when you're installing these 4 bolts, you may want to get you a flashlight to look down into the holes through the seat bracket here into the cart so you can line the holes to put your hardware in. All right guys, so the next step, we're going to use some 1-inch hardware here. This takes a 16mm socket for the bolt, and the nut takes a 17mm wrench. We're going to place this right here behind the seat here. We're going to lift up a little bit on the seat, just enough to slide the bolt in. Once we get the bolt in, we'll put the washer and the nut on as well, but we're not going to tighten anything down just yet. We're going to make sure everything is fully installed before we go tightening anything down. Like so. And get us a washer on the back and a lock, nylon locking nut. All right guys, the next step is to mount the footrest onto these supports here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the back of this right here real quick before we do that. Now this is not gonna make it perfect by any means, but just clean it up a little bit as best as we can. We're gonna be using the same 1-inch hardware to mount this lower bracket to the support here. We're just gonna put the nut on from the back side. We're not gonna tighten it down just yet. All right, we're just gonna leave that on there loosely, just like that. So this is the back seat support here. This is actually gonna go inside back here. Stand up like that. This outside piece here, we're gonna use a 3-inch long bolt with a washer. We're gonna go through here. This right here is also gonna go through the lower bracket down here. And it's gonna go through this upright here for the seat back as well. Like so. We can just leave this right here. 3-inch bolt going through the hand rest here, going through the seat bracket base and into the rear portion of the seat back support bracket there. There's a washer and a nut back there as well. So the next step, we need to attach these side rails to the footrest. You have these brackets here, and they are for one way or the other. So like on our case here, we're going to use this one. The bolt is actually going to fit through this piece here into this bracket and in to the seat just right here. The seat will also hold it up. So let's do that here. We're going through the bracket, or actually we're going through the armrest here, through the bracket, into the seat. This is the reason we left everything loose in here. We haven't tightened anything up because you might have to adjust it to get some of the bolts to fit into place. Now we're going to repeat this on the other side. After we're done with this, we're going to put a nut and a washer on the back of this and on the other side as well. So next thing we need to do is attach this piece to this piece. This is the seat bracket. This is like the armrest here. We're going to be using these bolts here. As you can see, it's rounded off. This is going to take a 6mm Allen key here. We're going to go ahead and place on a washer to one side here. The washer is going to go on the side of the bolt. We're going to have a spacer. The spacer is going to go between the bracket here and the armrest there, like so. Lift it up, push it into place. Now we're going to have one more washer that goes on the outside, and we're going to have this cap nut, and the cap nut here is going to go on the very outside as well. Now they put this here in case you're walking by it. You shouldn't snag your clothes on there. Remember I said this right here bolt is going to take a 6mm Allen key to tighten those up when we go to tighten everything up. Alright guys, we need to go ahead and bolt the side attachment here. Basically bolt here, washer, I believe it's like 2.5, 2 3/4 inches long here. Go ahead and line it up. Push it through there. It will go all the way through. It barely comes out the other side. Go ahead and put your washer on there and your nylon locking nut. Alright, so the next step, we're going to mount the lower seat to the seat frame, but I want to show you something here. On the back seat, you have a much taller side and a shorter side. Okay, that's one thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to mount my shorter side towards the middle of the cart and the taller side towards the back of the cart. There's a couple of reasons I'm doing that. Number one, I think it's going to look better. And number two, is the kids will not feel like they're just rolling off the cart. It's got a little bit of an angle of the seat. That's one thing I want to show you. The next thing I want to show you is don't get confused if you buy this kit and you go to put the bolts in and you said, oh my God, the lower one won't fit. Well, the lower portion down here takes a longer machined Phillip head that's included. The upper takes a shorter machined Phillip head. So just note that as well. There's going to be 8 bolts total, so you can get 4 shorts and 4 longs. Now when I'm installing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the shorter ones. I'm going to go ahead and put it through the hole here that fits towards the back, or the very top here in this upright position. I'm going to try to set the seat in place so the seat will come in contact. And it just drops in place like that. Now we're just going to tighten it up. We'll repeat the same process for the other 7. So the next thing we need to do is to mount these brackets against the backrest here. The scoop up portion goes towards the bottom. They got a bolt, a lock washer, and a regular washer that's going to attach it with a 10mm socket. There's 2 bolts per bracket. So let's say you took the golf cart apart. Originally, this would be the original hardware here. It's a 10mm size socket or a wrench here that fits into this upper hole up here. Once you place that back in there, there's going to be, you're going to need to take a supplied hardware screw into the hole right here, and we'll do that as well. Now we have 2 screws that are included with the kit here. And they actually fit into the hole here for the lower bracket there. One on that side and one on this side. Now let's go ahead and make sure these bolts attaching the front upper here are tight. Now that we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and bolt it down. Bolt, washer, it goes through both of those brackets, washer, and a nylon locking nut. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side as well.